Yo, welcome to the Gransberry Chronicles weekly Pick'em 2023 wrap up. I'm your girl, the Gransberry. I got my boy D Jones on the right.
What's
And
poppin'?
what's poppin'? And as always, our boy Coach B Pat. He's strolling through when he can. Some things be in his control, some things are not. So today is not in his control, so he say. But we gonna go with with what he gave us. He usually don't give too much fake juice, so we'll leave it at that. I know we've been away for a few weeks. It's been kind of busy, but there's a few little housekeeping things we needed to settle with the end of the season. And one would be announcing who won the pick'em, you know,
Officially.
officially who won. It was me. It was me. It was me. I mean, it's no other way to say it. It was me. I mean, my
Yeah.
name fits today, right? The queen, the stadium queen. I pulled it through. Um, I would say the last month
hmm
was really like iffy in a sense that it was competitive. I would say shout out to who we will give championship rights to as well, Will, because he was our fan winner. He came in second. And of course, we want our official winner to be somebody that is not on the show. But I have to make sure I remind my co hosts that I was the winner. And pretty much, y'all were out of it for the last month with me anyway. It was really me and Will for
Well,
the
I'm
last.
I'm gonna take a page out of your book.
Okay.
I win because the show won. So as long as the show was winning, I kind of win by default. But
Yeah.
Will won from my end user standpoint. I mean, from
Viewer
our
standpoint.
viewer standpoint. Excuse me. Thank
Okay.
you, Gavin. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you was officially in third by yourself. You
Yeah.
you had third kind of sold up about probably the what was it? Probably after wild card weekend, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was really possible for anybody to catch you. And obviously Will and I, we were pretty much first and second for the last probably 7 weeks. It just came down to who would pick differently. And you know, it's crazy because in the early part of the playoffs, I probably could have closed the door on being the official winner earlier had I just not had some emotional picks, as we call them, and went with the strategic picks and just
hmm
closed it. But ironically, when we had our pre big game show, I talked about for me, I was going to switch it up. All playoffs, I had picked against the Chiefs. I picked against them every round. And when I was evaluating, the game, I was like, look, I keep missing the mark, but I mean, it's just as much. It's like, it's not like any performance that they gave was so dominant that I was wrong for picking against them the next week. It's just as I said before, when it was coming down to that game, I mean, I was like, they just left there last year, and they have the experience on their side. They got Mahomes on their side, and I said it. I was like, if you asking me to trust somebody to win that game, a Mahomes versus a Purdy, I'm just gonna give it to Mahomes from film and on paper. Now, the biggest difference here is there was a lot of underestimation in comparisons of the defenses, which is why you guys went with the 49ers. And I think, what's interesting is how quickly life comes full circle. And the full circle moment about the entire game for me was Chris Jones set the tone first week by not playing. And Chris Jones sets the tone in the game to pretty much be the effective cause of being able to win win it all. So I
Yeah, they needed him. They definitely needed him. If he wasn't there,
if it was a
no.
week one to a ending point to put your stamp on a team, he definitely sealed that deal.
Yeah.
So and with that, um, again, I didn't feel like Purdy would lose the game. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like if you in a tight situation and
If
I had
somebody had to win it, you go with Mahomes. Yeah, when it was funny because watching the game, and my wife, and my wife really hasn't, up until this year, really been into football. But CJ and those boys got her a little bit
got her
more,
going.
got her going, and she actually went to 7 games this year with me this year. So it was like, whoa, whoa, okay, you wanted
Hey,
to go
y'all
with
would have had 8.
yeah, yeah, it would have, but you know how that go. But anyway, we was watching the game, and when San Francisco was driving that first drive in overtime, I was like, oh, they cannot settle for 3. You know what I mean? I was like, no, you can't. Because they had a good drive going, and I was like, you cannot stall out. I said, if they don't score a touchdown, this game is over. I was like, it's as simple as that. The game is over. I was like, because that other guy on the other side is going for 7. He's not going, for 3. And that's not just Mahomes. I was thinking Andy Reid as well. I'm a big Andy Reid fan. So so when that happened, I said the game is over. You know what I mean? So which goes into what you were saying. If somebody had to go win it, it's definitely going to be 15. And he did what he did. So, hats off to him.
For sure. And so, I went back and forth for about 20 minutes before the game started.
Did you?
And I said, do I go strategic or do I go emotional? Do I go strategic or I go emotional? And I say emotional because I just believed in that pick, right? To me, it was about as even as the point spread for the game anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
was just neck and neck. But I was like, okay, I was like, if I pick the 49ers and he picked the 49ers, we'll be tied. And I mean, I would win because I would have the 1 point advantage that I still had.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, if he picked the 49ers and I picked the Chiefs, we'll be tied. And then the tiebreakers are the points, who you think gonna score the most, who you think gonna score the least, and the score, right? So my theory was if I pick the Chiefs, say the 49ers would score the most points. Because then even with a tied win column, the other part. So I just was
Yeah.
like, that was my theory, right?
Yeah.
Um, but in the end, it's actually what I did. I picked the Chiefs and I picked the 49ers to score the most points. And and then I picked a score that had the
49ers.
49ers winning.
Yeah.
And I was gonna rely on that. So that's how I figured out that could be my strategy, but still
But
pick
you
who
didn't
I
need it.
really wanted to pick.
But
Huh?
you didn't need it. But you
I
didn't
didn't
need
need
it.
it.
So,
Because
yeah.
and that's what I realized. I was like,
Good
okay,
strategy though. That's a good strategy.
yeah, I
I
was
didn't
like,
even think like that.
yeah, I was like, if I do, because I was like, if I do this, then no matter what, I should win. Because I was like, if I pick the same team as him, he can't beat me. And
Mm-hmm.
so the worst that it would be is the opposite. And I was like, well, then we're gonna have to go to tiebreakers. Don't pick the same thing. And this is the score. Let me tell you the score I put. I put 49ers 28, Chiefs 21. So I still was like, I had some really good numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my score prediction because I was like, if they win, they only gonna beat them by a score.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah, it was gonna be a close game either way.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
And shout out to Gonzalez. Like he said, the San Fran's defense was tough at first, but I think what's really clear though, if you go back and look at their season in a totality, when their defense is at its best, it's when they take over early and they keep taking over. They don't have a defense that stretches 4 quarters. They start to look like bend don't break, and
Well,
then
I think
the offense.
I think what happened here is probably 2 things. There was some timely questionable play call or blitzes which I'm not questioning it, but some people question, when the DC calls some blitzes. And then I would say too, the thing about their defense, and really, probably majority of the defenses in the league now, if you don't have an offense that's going to keep you balanced, they're on the field too much, and their offense stalled out after the first couple of, they looked good early, as Gonzalez said, but then when they started stalling out, it was like the defense was out there too much, and I think they got winded. Not an
Yeah,
excuse. You can't let that happen in the Super Bowl,
right.
or the big game, but I think that played a major part, and then like I say, some untimely calls as far as to go, to blitz Mahomes, and he made them pay for it. But their defense was solid most of the game. I mean,
Right. I
so
don't think it was unsolid. I guess what I'm saying
yeah,
is on the same side of that, you know, you can't stay in a game if the other team doesn't keep 3 and out with your defense. And
yeah,
so if you 3 and out and it gets to a point where the other team is not,
yeah,
then you can't stay in it. And I'm just saying the games they dominated in, they were getting turnovers on top of 3 and
fair,
outs. And
fair.
so you
They
were
was making stuff happen. They weren't just
yeah,
yeah,
and you were putting your offense in a position to relax and score instead of desperate for a score. And
yeah.
I think that
Short
sometimes
field.
makes you play call a little different when you forced to try to get it versus you could just run your game. And I think back, and I'm gonna take you way back on this. I think back to like the way O'Brien used to run the team, right? It was whatever he wanted to do. That was the scheme
Yeah,
plan for the day, and he didn't alter. You could be
yeah.
looking at the game thinking we should be doing something different, but it was like
That
you
worked.
could tell through the TV he has decided this is the game plan
And
today,
we digging to it.
and we sticking to it.
Yeah.
And so for that to happen in that game, that was what you had to do. And I kept saying that about they win. So on the flip side of that, I didn't keep picking them to win except when I picked strategically
Yeah.
because I felt like the blueprint was there from the moment Green Bay played them.
Hmm.
And, a little bit of experience got the best of Green Bay. And
Okay,
so,
so let me take you another route. If you had to think quickly, of course, don't go too all night. But if you got to think, is what would be the turning point of that game for you? Like, what would be? Is there one play or one moment or one possession where you'll say that's either where Kansas City won it or that's where the 49ers lost it? Is there one thing that you can go to?
personally, I mean, it's hard to go to it when you say Chris was making stops, right?
You
Like
say who was making stop? Chris Jones?
Jones, yeah.
Oh, he was affecting plays. But yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah. And so, whereas, like, for instance, when we say Baker threw in the coverage, right? And
Yeah.
he ruined
Yeah.
his game with Detroit, and we'll say uh Love threw in to coverage and
Yeah.
it took the game apart. And initially I can't really give it one play. Unless you feel like it was one play?
I think it
Which
was one
play?
play. I think it was the muff punt. The muff
Okay.
punt
And
is
I guess I so because I wasn't thinking special teams though. So
that,
I was trying to
that's why
think,
I say one play,
okay,
one
yeah,
moment.
yeah,
Because at that moment, I mean, Kansas City, they had stopped them. They turned the ball over and they score on the next play, and that score gave them the lead. So it was like that to me was the
that was a
one shot.
momentum shift.
That was it. I mean they
Okay.
still came back and still kind of played with them, but I think that was all the Chiefs needed. That was the one thing. You're like, oh, we up now. You know what I'm saying? That was all they needed to say, hey, we got this. Don't worry about nothing else. Because up until that point, even with how things were going, the Chiefs were behaving uncharacteristically. They were getting, a little chippy. They fussing with each other on the sidelines. You see Mahomes kind of going at a couple players. You got, Kelsey and bumping Reed. You got things that's happening to where they look like the team that wasn't steady. You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, this is just normal Sunday for us now. You know, once that happened, it was just okay. Oh, this is regular work. Oh, okay, let's go to work then. And I feel like that's when things kind of shifted, and it was like, okay, here we go again. You know, these guys gonna do their thing, and we've seen this before. When I hate to say it, but Brady and the dynasty with Belichick, when we would see those games, and we would be like, oh, you finally got them down, and then they start. He's like, oh no, don't let them breathe. And then when they realize, oh, this is what we do, and then he's like, oh, here we go again. I got that same feeling when that happened. It was just like, okay, here they go. The Chiefs have showed up to the game, so here we go again. What up, Coach?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
So, we want to give you your shout out. Wait. Gonzalez wants to know if you are still in Vegas because
Mm,
he
nah,
he's
it's
stalling, huh?
no. I've been in Houston,
Bissonnette?
of course,
Uh,
but it's been going whatever. Nah, no, which is a pretty interesting movie, by the way. But anyway, so they now
Shut up,
it's
Raven
playoff basketball
Ridge.
season. It's playoff basketball season, so it's been going on. I've been doing playoff games, but tonight I didn't. I just got stuck in traffic. So, but
Stuck in traffic. Okay, that's a
yeah,
good one.
stuck in traffic. But yeah, I understand about the punt return, the punt fumble. I also thought the Greenlaw injury also kind of sparked up everything from
But
the
that was still
aspect
pretty
of
early. That was still pretty early.
I mean,
It
again,
impacted the game. Don't get me
it
wrong.
did.
That
No,
that
no.
definitely impacted the game.
Reason why I say that is because Kelsey wasn't getting off then. And then Greenlaw got hurt, and they figured out. But then I think the other guy got hurt too, right behind him, Brooks, the linebacker.
Yeah,
And then when KC started playing a little faster, San Francisco couldn't get out of the. I don't want to say prevent because it's the wrong word. They couldn't get out of the base defense or couldn't get the different looks that they wanted to give KC. I mean, because when you in hurry up mode or semi hurry up mode, your defense, you're still trying to figure out a do we blitz here, do we blitz there, or can we blitz there, or can we run a cover two or whatever they want to run. But like you said, all it takes is one spark, and it was the fumble, and that was all she wrote.
I
so
agree. I think the Greenlaw thing definitely impacted the game because if you see the difference between the first half how they covered Trap Kelsey and then the second half where Kelsey went off,
Right.
they was definitely keeping a body on Travis because I know going into the game I was saying why is this dude always open? I know it's because they teams play zone, but I'm like you can play zone and keep a man on him. And
But he
early on,
finds a
it was
way.
like between the nickel corner and between Warner, they always had somebody on Travis. But I think Greenlaw going out adjusted that, like you said. So
Yeah, the Greenlaw injury I thought was a bigger injury for them, but I mean, that happens,
it throws
having
everything off. Yeah,
it throws completely off, because you're trying to get a game plan in and here and there. And then they did have Kelsey trapped pretty well, but it was all. I mean, like you said, once and then Hardman got in the game, and it kind of relaxed everybody else once Kelsey started getting open. Then oh shoot, if Kelsey getting open, Kelsey starting to work, we got to work. So but that all, I mean, it was like I agree with you, D Jones. I caught the part where you said they were acting uncharacteristically. It wasn't, it was like, oh, the pressure was on KC at that time, and then all of a sudden it shifted, and Purdy had. I thought also Shanahan should have ran a little bit more, should have ran the ball a little bit more. He gave up on the run, but because all three of us were on the text thread when when the Baltimore was playing San Francisco, and they stopped running the ball, and it made Baltimore play. "Oh, okay, y'all not gonna run the ball. We're just gonna make Purdy throw the ball, and he can't be that guy off of play action because we knew everything you were doing was gonna be a play action. They stopped running with McCaffrey. He had 80 yards and then 80 yards receiving, and then you all of a sudden just went away with it. You know, he was getting 5, 6 yards a pop on a run or a pass.
Yeah.
Well, before we go to Gonzalez's next question, I just want to, recap real quick that we talked about. We've been doing this, show for a few seasons now, and you have definitely won the award for consistently coming in last place as a co-host. And I just want to shout out that I just want to make sure we gave you the toilet bowl award. You successfully won it again.
Absolutely.
Um, you were out of it so early. I don't even
I was
remember.
not out of it early. Nope, it was late.
Uh, Early for me would be in the first 8 games. You were not
It was.
stealing by
Yes, I
week
was. Yes, I
by week
was.
10. You was where?
Week 10, yeah, but we talking about week 8. You said week 8.
I know, but you saying you made it to week 10?
I made it to week 10 and 11.
No.
No,
Yeah,
No.
I made it late. Yes, I did.
no,
Yes, I did.
No.
Yes, I
You
no.
did.
probably made it to 8. You probably made it to 8. But no.
10,
No, bro. Hate to
10.
see.
That's my story,
Hate
and
to
I'm
see.
sticking to it.
Oh,
You can stick to
you
it.
gonna have to stick to it
You can stick
because
to
you can stick
it.
to it all you want. Because
The real is just the real. That's
let
just
let
the real.
let me help you out. In week 8, what's the little name you played under?
He changed it this year. I forgot what it was.
Was it a Husker attack or something like that?
In week 8, you were 1, 2.
So it was before then.
She still
You
count.
you came in 20th place in
In
week
week 8.
8 out of 26 people. Dude, I started counting on whispers so people wouldn't hear me
She was
after 10.
counting. She was still counting.
I, was- I should have just started from the
No, she's
bottom.
still going, bro.
I
She's
should have
still
said
going.
Now we
started from
here.
the bottom. I should have said started from the bottom. Now
Hey,
we here.
you gotta
But
start
you
somewhere.
came out
Hey,
better,
next season,
It was
sir.
next
improvement.
season.
It was improvement because the other seasons he was done by week 4.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well,
so
that's
at
true. That's
least,
true.
at least you recorded a pick for the game
Oh
because
man, yeah, you
last
ain't
year
lying
you
about
had a
that.
problem where you kept skipping the Thursday
I
night
forget.
game.
Oh, I no. This year I was doing it
I
too.
about to say he
I
did
was
that this
doing.
year.
I was doing that. I was doing that this year as well because I think because I remember I had Thursday night. I was doing football and I would be on the field like, dang, I forgot my pick.
I
You
mean,
know, I
football start the same every season,
Every week.
Thursday
It's
night.
the
So
same.
I mean, I
I
It
can't.
know,
goes
I
on
know. I
Wednesday.
should
You
have
make
did
your
it.
pick
I
on
should at
Wednesdays.
least do Thursday night on a Wednesday night and call it a day.
Or
My
the night
bad.
you do the show,
On
unless
the
you
Why
night
just
don't
we
you
go.
do
just
the
put it
show,
in?
and I be forgetting to like do it like right
Yeah.
after the show. But
Because
hey,
you be
next year,
entangled,
no, I be entangled with my sleep after the show. How about
Oh
that?
Lord. Oh Lord.
sleeping. Okay,
All right.
Sleep.
all right. But so I just wanted to make sure we gave you a shout out. So back to Gonzalez's question. I try not to put too much thought into it because right at
No,
this point, it's whatever sounds good in a press conference. But we clearly have video of when that coin toss was going down. We know for sure Mahomes knew those rules
you
because
know, Mahomes. Did you see the
like,
facial expression?
oh, he was like,
But here's my thing, though. Here's my thing, right? So whether they took the ball first or second, me personally, I don't think that mattered. I mean, the only thing that it did was kind of go what we talked about early, Gransberry, is Mahomes knew exactly what he needed, so he had the
but
ball
that's
in his
exactly
hand.
why you. But that's exactly the point. Only for overtime, though. That's the only time you have the option to say, "I'm gonna know exactly what I need to win." No, at no other point in the game do you know that unless it's the final drive with no time available to the other team.
I understand,
So
but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, if San Fran goes down and scores a touchdown, like we said earlier, right? They had to score a touchdown, right?
yeah, but you had
Let's
to put the
flip it.
No
pressure.
matter what.
Let's
No, no,
flip
no, no,
it.
no. But let's keep it. No, let's keep
No,
it
no,
because
no, no, no. For
I'm
sake of
going with
argument,
why he had that expression.
for
And you
sake,
have that expression because you have to really believe and tell yourself, I'm going to get a touchdown. And and
So
at that moment, he didn't believe they were capable of doing it. So in his mind, he thinking, you either getting 3 or nothing, and I'm
I'm
getting the
I'm,
ball.
I'm taking Mahomes out of it. What we're talking about is did San Fran not know, right? So what I'm saying
Okay.
is if San Fran not knowing really doesn't matter as
Doesn't
much
matter.
as they making a big deal out of it, because if San Fran goes down and score a touchdown and gets 7, do we not think that they're still trying to come down and get 7? Like we said earlier, they're trying to score 7. It's easier if you know I only need 3. Yeah, if they stop them, I only need 3. I know the game, what's going to happen. You dig what I'm saying? What
Here's my question.
if you flip that, I still think Kansas City going and get 7, and then San Francisco has to go get 7, to keep it
Here,
going.
here's
Now,
my question.
But
My
the
question
question,
is,
the
I wish
theory
they
on that
would.
is,
go
hold on,
ahead.
B. The
Go ahead.
theory on that is though, if you take the ball and you go down there and get 3, then I get 7 and put you out of it.
That's going to be the case either way, though. You see what I'm saying? The only thing
Yeah,
that's really
but
different in the Super Bowl is it's a possession. You get a full possession, right?
right. So that
So
means that you don't have to take it first. You force the other, you always want to see what the other team gonna give you. So you would have gave the ball to KC, because even if you score, you give it to KC, but force them to go and get it first. That's the position of the coach.
no, no,
So
I
that's why I
don't.
say we
I'm
know
not debating.
the
I'm
decision maker in
mhm,
that situation is the coach. So it don't
ex-
really matter what the players think. I think when
exactly.
the question came up about the players is not the beginning part with the toss, because evidently that's what
Yeah,
the coach had decided. It was
for sure.
when on that possession, I think they thought we're about to go into pretty much another sudden death, because at this point the overtime quarter is almost over. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
I'm talking,
well,
So you thinking that they thought after they scored the 7, they still got another shot?
yes, like because
yeah,
Oh,
and
I
that's
missed that
because
part.
that's what they acted. They acted like that as well. Even the guy that scored a touchdown, I think it was Hartman. He was like, "What are you
he didn't
coming up
think the
hugging
game
me
was
like that?"
over.
He didn't think the game
He
was
didn't think
over.
the game was
So
over.
that was gonna. I'm glad that was gonna lead up to what I was getting ready to ask y'all. Do y'all think that overtime should have been a quarter and whoever had the most points wins, or is the way it played out
That's the way
is
it played out.
you scored? Okay, so then the second thing was I think this is just me. I thought Kansas City was going to score no matter what,
That's what I'm
a
saying.
touchdown no matter what. Now, what would have happened if that time ran out in Kansas City? Because Kansas City held the ball forever.
They would have went to
They
another
Okay.
have
quarter
they
because
would have went
it's
to
a
another
possession.
quarter because
It's not about the
right.
time.
Correct.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's why
Okay.
I say,
Okay.
and that was
Okay.
my point about that's why I
Okay.
think that's the part they didn't get. The beginning part starts mentally the same. So your coach sent you out there saying, we getting the ball first, let's go down there and score. Let's do what we do. You're gonna keep going in the biggest game. It's not gonna end like the same way.
No,
So that
it,
that was my point. That's the part I was referring to.
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
knew the when they went out there for the corn toss exactly where they were headed with it. I think Mahomes was just surprised because that's usually not what a team would pick.
Well, it was this the first year that I think they did it
it
that
is the
way.
first year. It's the
This is
first
the
year.
first year,
It
so
is.
that's why I think like Mahomes knew the Stigler. But here's the thing: Mahomes is the quarterback and knew, and he's the captain. Did Purdy know if he was the captain? Would have known that?
I think all that's ridiculous.
I think that
This is
don't
all about
matter.
coaches.
That
This is
you
all about
going
coaches
out there, yeah, that don't matter. That's digging down a dark hole for no reason.
because they're going
The
to go
only
out there
thing,
to score anyway. They're going to
That's
score
what I'm saying. Yeah,
regardless.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
and you
it's if
already knew at that point what you were going in the huddle with. It's not a situation like with Derek team where your boy going out there and he not supposed to even be out there with the corn
he was
talk.
bugging. No,
Yeah, so
that's bugging.
so
But no, it's if I get you when you say if they thought that they had another opportunity, then that's just pathetic. But
yeah,
I
I
didn't
ain't
if
gonna say
the
pathetic,
way
but
that
I
I
mean
kept
just
hearing it was about them getting the ball first. I don't care. I don't think it's that big a deal that they got the ball first. They
Well,
yeah,
still
Kansas
the
City was
ball
going to score a
first was not.
touchdown regardless.
there's
Yeah,
not
but the
stopping them.
ball first was not the part that they were really honed on. They said they looked like they was playing preventive because they felt like they were
They
gonna
felt like
get
they was gonna
another
have another
shot.
shot.
Yeah.
That was
And
dumb.
so
Yeah,
you just trying
That
to
makes
get it
sense.
done so you
that
can
That
was
get
makes
the
dumb.
sense.
Yeah,
ball,
yeah.
right?
That makes
And so
sense.
that's and so that's the rabbit hole.
And then
But
they had a couple of fourth downs, didn't they? Didn't they have like a fourth down that they, if they would have played that more aggressive, the game would have been over. If they would have
and
stopped
that's
That's why I
those
say
type of
they should
things,
have. That's why I'm saying they played that. Yeah, you're right. They played that
those type
kind
of
of
things.
like, oh, let's
that's
go on and kick this field
right. So
goal.
that's what
Yeah,
I was arguing. I'm
And
not
I'm
even
not a
yeah, that
talking
makes
fan.
sense.
about.
I know it don't matter, but for us, I'm not a fan of changing the rules just for the Super Bowl. Just keep it the same. Just keep it the same.
Well,
That
I'm just
I
rule
saying
was
agree.
just for the
improve
Super Bowl.
overall, just improve the overtime rules, and then you don't even have to worry about it.
But don't change it.
Well, but
Whatever
I,
the rule is, let the rule be for every game. I know it's different in the
I
playoffs because
know,
you can't
but
have
I
a
think
tie,
I,
but don't
I
change it for the Super Bowl.
yeah, that's fair. But I think they trying things and they don't know how to figure it out, because even last year, I mean, being conscious of the rules and the timing, they realized don't score because we don't want to give the ball back to Hurts. We don't want to try to
No,
be stuck in
that's
the
our
game.
strategy. I'm cool
Yeah,
with
so that
that.
was great strategy. But
he's
I'm just
Yeah,
talking about
saying,
the possession thing.
I
I'm just
know what he's talking about. I'm
yeah.
saying overall
Okay.
with different things, this was the perfect time to try to implement a new rule, because last year you had a close game. You know what I'm saying? You didn't come off a game where people could keep debating the rule. Because remember, the issue at first was when Brady beat Mahomes, it was that's not even fair. These overtime rules suck because they scored and they didn't even get a chance to
They
have
didn't
the
get a
ball.
shot. They didn't get
And
a
so
shot.
they didn't get a shot. And so
Yeah.
I think all of that was the brewing of let's attempt this, but let's attempt it only for the biggest stage. So then at
And
that
that's what I
point,
got.
I
That's what I
know,
got a
The
but I
problem
mean,
with.
funny part about it is I think Kansas City was the team that actually made this proposal because I think they were the
but
ones
that's
that
my point.
has
But
to
it got
propose.
executed on this game as
Correct.
Yeah.
They
opposed
sure
to
did.
that's and that
It's a-
that's a that's exactly my point.
That's
So we can
easy.
move on because
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
yeah.
the point is taken. I'm just like, if you're gonna do it that way, do it that way for the whole playoffs. If you're gonna do it the other way, I just don't change it.
Yeah,
I just don't.
do it for the
I think they
regular season
couldn't.
too.
Well, regular
No,
season you
regular
can have
season,
ties.
you have ties. You got enough.
You
You
can
already
have
got
ties.
rules. They don't care about
Oh
that.
yeah.
That
You
you
can't
already
have
got
a
a
tie in the
clock out.
playoffs.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about. They got 9 million different tiebreakers to break all that up if you
Nah.
have teams with a tie. So it
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
50-11,
I
look,
get the
50-11.
playoff rules. I just think it should be the same. But it's all good, man.
7-11.
Right?
Yeah.
We still
It's
talking about
good.
it, so it's good.
So all right. So now we move on to this past weekend. Look, it's been a PV week up in here. Shout out to Jesse checking the show out. He has a son playing baseball at Alcorn. And so I had to throw that in there because
Got
PV
15.
won the
Ooh, got 15
Cactus,
wins.
yeah, Cactus Jack HBCU Classic Baseball Classic at Minute Maid Park over the weekend with a walk-off single with two-run RBI in the ninth to take it undefeated, and it was definitely against Alcorn. Look, the game. Look, I'm so happy for the guys. I mean, they won Friday night. They came from behind on Saturday night to beat
To
TSU.
be TSU.
Yep.
Last year, TSU came from behind in the ninth inning and beat them. And then
Mhm.
going into Sunday, they knew if they won, the tournament was theirs because they were at that moment they were undefeated and the only undefeated team left. And so Alcorn was giving us the business. I
I
mean,
say they got down big early.
yeah, at one point the game was 10-2.
10-2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they was down
ten
big.
to two.
Yeah.
And to pull off a win in the night, I mean, I had to leave because I had dinner plans, but I had to leave. And I'm like in the restaurant, fancy restaurant in there trying to whoo, whoo. And they like, what's going on? I was like, oh, nothing. Oh, nothing. And I'm like refreshing. I was like, I'm looking at the scores, it's getting close, it's getting tighter. And I was like, man, it was just so much excitement and joy. So we took home that tournament prize. I love it. The great thing about it too is the trophy is staying in Texas because the trophy is coming, has now in Texas, which feels great because last year Jackson State had the sweep, and those boys did their thing coming in. And last year too, if you remember, quite a few games ended on the skunk rule.
It sure did.
Mhm.
And so
And
this
yeah,
year they
it
were
sure
more
did.
Yeah, they were more competitive this year, and we didn't really have to, implant.
The,
We saved ourselves from the skunk rule in
yeah,
that last game. And
wasn't in
so
17. Yeah.
yeah, so then we move into Monday, and I'm here in New Orleans. So just know I don't own those curtains. And we here in
That's
New
not
Orleans for
that's not your decor in the back.
that's not my
That's not your
decor.
picture.
This ain't
So
me. This ain't me. This ain't me.
this ain't me, and I'm not in an entanglement. We leave all of that to Coach Pat. And
Uh,
so
Never an
I'm in
entanglement.
New Orleans for the HBCU NFL combine that ended on yesterday, and then the HBCU Legacy Bowl, and which the practices started today, and the game is this upcoming Saturday. And so, if you had a chance to see the combine on the NFL Network yesterday. SWAC represented all day. Shout out to my colleagues and compadres at OSMG who represent Ladarius, the running back out of TSU, who had an excellent showing in his 40 and skills as a running back on yesterday. And then shout out to myself for picking an awesome client in Travion Green. And I mean, a bigger shout out to him, because at this point, like I tell people, the player speaks for you. I mean, you get the
44.
opportunity, to be with them. But he ran that unofficial 4.4, and then APT times came in today. It's still in the 4.4 range. So I'm loving it for my guy. He, if you were watching it or you're able to catch the replay, he was so explosive that he was in the linebacker group, and they came over and got him to also have him do the DB drills. So it was exciting to see, like, they immediately on the spot was like, yeah, we gotta check this out, because when you moving like that and your size fits safety, let's give it a shot. And so today was the first practice of the Legacy Bowl, and he was still getting some good looks playing DB again today. So just looking forward to that. I won't still be here by the time of the game, but just proud to see the guys represent. Um, I would like to say everything I've seen so far is top notch. The NFL put on a great HBCU combine. The guys got all the opportunities and the setups that they needed. And then I went over to the host hotel for the HBCU Legacy Bowl. Looks amazing. You see all the greats. They got the nice setups all over the hotel. The kids are excited. They got a good game plan for them. They're going to have a career fair for those kids who just may not, college football is what they had a passion and dream for, and now they're ready for the real world. So later this week, it's a HBCU career fair. So if you're in town and you're an HBCU grad, you're welcome at the career fair as well. They're taking them to a Pelicans game. Ironically, they're going to be playing the Rockets when they attend that game. And like, they just got activities planned for them all week. It's just a really good opportunity to see. And so, as we said, football ended for me on the regular view of Sunday, but this is probably the busiest next 4 weeks that I'll probably have. I don't think I'll get too much dirt under my feet, as they say, um, because I'll just be moving quick in, quick out. And tomorrow I will be a guest on podcast out of Kentucky with an awesome lady named Terry Bryant, Coach Terry Bryant. She coaches Pats ladies football.
all
Um,
right.
so yeah, and
All right.
so
Fair enough.
Okay.
yeah, and her son is a standout past season freshman safety at DB at Kentucky. So he's had a very nice freshman season as well. So I I'm just, I'm working, but I'm working with a smile because I'm in my element. So
Work don't stop.
yeah, work don't stop. It's a different type of work, but it's definitely one that I enjoy. I spend a lot of time looking at numbers a lot of different numbers that probably don't mean as much to everybody else. But thank you to all of the people who inbox me, text me, shout outs. I really appreciate it. I read all of them. I'm tired. Y'all know I don't like text messages. So you hear me saying thank you for the text. That means you know, yeah, I mean, you don't start conversations with me via text, but thank you for just the concern shout outs, the inboxes, the shares of the posts. Awesome guy, you know um just looking forward to continuing great opportunities for him. I'll be headed, like I said a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, that I'll be headed to Indy next week, and I'm looking forward to the combine, the NFL combine in Indy, and our client Devin Cope representing for Washington. So that's my take. Anything else? I'm not really ready to get into this whole discussion of the off-season wars. I really hate empty discussions, and what I mean by that is these debates over where's Mike Evans going and all of that. Like, there's just I don't want to spend a lot of energy on it. I'm just saying I'm realistic in it, but I know prior to the show, Derek and I were laughing because people are tracking down who following who on social media, and it's just like, oh my god, like I feel like I'm in a twilight zone. Like,
Well, let me. You got to change how we look at it,
okay,
right?
I'm
Uh,
gonna sit back
I,
on this.
I
I'm gonna let
mean,
you tell me how I
it's
should look at it.
it's equivalent to us the year we said let's do uh, division winners, and you was like, I ain't just throwing that out there. It's
Now let's
kind of
say
the
it's
same
not you.
thing.
So let's be clear. I want you to keep speaking on your topic, but let's be clear. That wasn't just here. That's every show that I go on as a guest.
Absolutely,
I refuse to
absolutely,
pick
yeah,
division.
absolutely,
Okay, I
absolutely.
just want to know.
Yeah, yeah.
I just
I'm
want
just
people to know
bringing.
that I'm
I'm just that's
anti.
just the comparison.
Yeah, I'm
So
anti-division picker at the beginning of the season. I think it's a
and
waste of time.
it's the same
Mhm.
thing when you're trying to pick where somebody's going. But I will say a couple of stories. There's stories that interest me in the offseason. What happens with Chris Jones in KC. Who gets franchise tags. What happens with Saquon. And
I
I'm
was about to say
interested in
Saquon.
seeing what's happening, not
Yeah,
necessarily the guesstimations of where people are going to go.
that's
So
different. That's a different topic. I think what I was saying is I don't want to get to the intricate level of trying to say,
guess where they're going to go.
yeah, and then
That's why I
saying
say
other
just
people
change how we look
outnumber
at it.
that.
We're looking
So
at
yes,
what
I would
happens,
just
not guessing
okay,
where they're gonna go.
fair,
Yeah,
fair.
we ain't
I
we
mean,
ain't
I would
Yeah,
generate a list.
I'm
I would
I'm
generate
interested. I'm interested in like where T Higgins, Saquon, and Chris Jones. And then on top of that, there's some teams that can and cannot tag. But the one person I really want to see is your favorite Kirk Cousins. I want to see what's going to happen with him if Minnesota is going to get him back.
no, you say her favorite Kirk Cousins. She ain't never hated on
No,
Kirk.
I was just I was I was trying to
He
be
ain't with the
funny.
G's.
I was trying to be funny. I was trying
because
to
I
be
was
funny.
going to
Well,
say
we know Garoppolo finna get is about to get cut. So
I
yeah.
don't even know. Some
That's
conversations are unnecessary,
yeah, that
so
ain't even
that ain't even a conversation. But I
that
just
ain't
want to
what
be
that
clear.
interests me.
I ain't never been anti cousin, so yeah. I'm just looking forward to free agency, and then free plug. If you out there in free agency and you feel like you need new representation, the DMs are open, but not for other stuff. Okay, just it's
You don't
limited.
have that's enough. Don't mess up the commercial.
Okay.
Don't mess up the commercial. Leave it right there. Yeah.
Oh, look, we was about to have Chronicles after dark because I just
Hey, Gransberry, are you aware of any HBCU guys at the combine invited to the combine off the top of
yes,
the dome?
two,
Two.
two, yes. Um, there's a DN that was invited, and uh and a lineman, offensive lineman. So we did get two. So obviously because they're not my two, I don't have a name, but I did track that. Yes. So that's a trending up. That's a trending up. So I like that movement. I still think you keep both. And it's one of those situations when you're here and you see it, you understand that there's value in it for there to be both, because you just can't really take the combine and add another 60 or 70 kids, it's already a long combine anyway, right?
Mhm.
And you just want to work it the way you can, but they don't overdo it. So like there's about a little over 100, maybe 101, 102 kids here for the bowl game. And I said I was gonna move away. I hate this because I didn't normally use that phrase. There are about 100 to 102 young men here for the game. I really don't like saying kid. I get caught up when people say that, but I think
Yeah.
coaches who are saying that are older, and then they're not my kids, and I feel like they're all young men. And so there's like I said, a few young men here for the game, but with the combine, there was only about 48 to 50 young men invited. So it's not even the same kids always. So like those kids were here for the combine, then they bring in another young men, they bring in another 50 young men. And I got that from somebody because I never call people kids.
No, you don't.
That's why it's really bad. That's why I was like,
You in that element. I know you're hearing it a lot.
yeah, I hear it. No, look, that kid's awesome. I'm like, no, it's a young man. But yeah, so another set of young men arrived yesterday, and so you have the scouts trying to, figure out that other group of young men who weren't necessarily invited to the combine part, because you are trying to keep an elite number. I mean, if you think about the number of people who will enter the draft versus the number of people that will be at the combine next week, we obviously know that every young man that attends the combine is not necessarily drafted. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and or even signed, forget just drafted, signed.
Right.
So and that's the thing, right? There is a desire to say you were drafted in a round, but I think if you get to the point where you're having a conversation with your current Ryan Clarks, right? And that's the moment that people may live for, but that guy who is in the league and plays and at the highest level and wins at the highest level, he's far beyond thinking about I didn't go in round 6. They made me sign as a undrafted free agent. The goal is to get signed and then move it up. That doesn't mean you have to have a low threshold for yourself, but the goal is to be signed, and not to get too far down the line in the CBA and everything like that. But we all know rounds affect you more so your upfront money more than anything, because they've already determined what the annual salary is for the players. The players have already voted on that, and that's set in the CBA. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get me some good rest tonight. I've already had my beignet fix. I've had my char grill oyster fix,
Mm.
and that's where I'm at.
Mm.
So, any
I want,
questions?
I want some oysters.
Oh, sorry about that. I can't solve that problem for you. I can't solve that problem for you.
Nah, you can't. But I know where I can go to.
Y'all can have the oysters.
Oh, we already know you rolling anytime anyway, Mr. Entanglement. So we know you don't need oysters. But on that note, Coach B Pat, let them know where they can find you when you're not in the stands or entangled.
Coach B Pat, Twitter and Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. D Jones.
Mm.
Look, he can't even say nothing to me.
No,
Tune
because
in.
I was thinking about the
Tune in
oyster.
TikTok, that boy D Jones, and on Instagram, that boy D. Jones. And shout out to the Texan GOAT, Andre Johnson, for getting into the Hall of Fame.
Woo.
Oh shoot. I'm trying to look up prices for that.
Oh, it's
Okay.
happening.
It's
It's
happening.
happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
So,
Let's go.
so
Let's go.
nothing new about me. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I am the Gransberry. I know Twitter go by X. That's just too much to go through. But at the same time, like I said, if you're looking for me, I'm a steal a line from Coach Prime. I'm not hard to find.
Mm.
Just make sure you got a legit reason that you're looking for me.
Okay.
Otherwise, we appreciate you joining us. We will have, like I said, some special edition shows in the spring, maybe a post combine show, and then later a post draft show. I really you know, if the guys want to, I'll be honest with you. I don't like pre-draft shows. I'm not really into all that. To me is small talk. When you're just making all these huge hypotheticals, I can't do it. Like I lose interest. I'm annoyed because I could say, you know, the sky's yellow at that point. And I just, you know, for me as a science person, when you have a hypothetical, you also have a base that you compare your hypothetical to. So the fact that we just gonna be out here freewheeling to decide, you know, who gonna get drafted first, who may what, yeah, because you had it on your bingo draft card that we were gonna move up to number 3 and grab Will, and you had it on your bingo card we was gonna win the division. So you know, it's just like
You have to.
the greatest reality show, and people spend so much time with advanced guessing, it drives me insane.
It's equivalent to a tournament bracket. I
That's
mean,
it.
that's what it is.
And you know what? I don't like tournament brackets. I fill out 16 of those things just to try to win money. I still think it's
And
advertised.
that's really a mock. That's all the mock draft is. I appreciate it only. I watch it in doing the pre draft shows. Some of the experts, because they mention people's names that I don't know about. So that just sparks me to go and go look some guys up that's not on my
What the
radar.
heck?
But
I'm getting logging off. Gonzalez logging off. Lord.
I'm sorry, I had to get that in there
no, I
before
saw
we
it
left.
pop up. I was
Man.
hey,
Oh,
on that note,
Gonzalez done took the air out of the show. On that note, we go all Gonzalez, you won.
go on, make a
Gonzalez,
change, coach.
you win.
No, sir.
We'll catch y'all next